I don't know. You guys want to talk first? You want me to just lay it out there, what I'm thinking?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, and Crams are here. Today, we are reviewing the new Yo La Tengo record called This Stupid World. It is their 17th full-length album. Can't imagine Joe is too high on this.
Well, Jason, I would say likes Yo La Tengo a lot, and I love them. So this should be interesting.
Can't imagine why, but I don't know. You guys want to talk first? You want me to just lay it out there, what I'm thinking for this
Yeah.
stupid album? I mean, this stupid world.
No, you go. That was a good segue. You gotta go
All
now.
right, all right. I feel like I've listened to Yo La Tengo before. I know I have. It just made such little impact that I never made through a whole album. That's for damn sure. One of those bands when I was first getting into music, people would talk about and I'd hear praise and read Rolling Stone and they love them and all this stuff. And I listened, I was like, this sucks. Never come back. But the hazards of the job, listen to This Stupid World. And it's just the most boring, just amelodic type of music you could possibly listen to. Starts off with Sinatra Drive Breakdown, which is just, you got that like metallic tinged noise rock, those guitars that sound like they're just like being crushed in some sort of like heavy machinery. A lot of bass droning for about 5 to 7 minutes, just ad nauseum. And it's just a song that just makes me want to go to sleep because there's nothing going on. It's just constant sort of recycling of the same notes over and over. And for 7.5 minutes, like this is not like a 3 minute little, Sonic Youth song. This is 7.5 minutes I'll never get back. And it's just torturing. It's just them torturing their instruments. I have no idea how this is appealing to anyone. Fallout again, like it sounds like late period Sonic Youth, not early period. So it's better than that at least. But there's no melodies, there's no like moments of climax or anything like that. There's no just straight on through the whole time. There's no levels, there's no dynamics. There's a couple songs, a Celestine, where Georgia Hubley takes over vocals is nice. Softer and dreamier, but it sounds like a song you've heard 10,000 times and often better. Like there's nothing here I don't think that they do that isn't better somewhere else. Apology Letter is just noodling, just noodly noodles. The Stupid World's 7.5 minutes of white noise. I almost fell asleep listening to one of the tracks. I can't remember which one. It doesn't matter. I hated it. And it was just soporific to me, this type of music, the droniness and the lack of melodies. So 2 stars. I can't imagine why people want to listen to this, but hopefully you'll tell me.
Well, I don't know. Yo La Tengo for me is not always a band I love. And certain elements of their sound I like a lot. And they have a few records that I really like, but I'm not by any means like a diehard fan that is into everything they've ever done. And I think this record kind of encapsulates all of that. I think there's some stuff here that I really like and some stuff here that I really don't like that much. Joe's right. The opener, Sinatra Drive Breakdown, I would call it maybe krautrock influence. It's got like those really repetitive rhythms. It reminds me a lot of like Spiders, Kid Smoke by Wilco, that just kind of like repetitive thing happening over and over. You get those kind of repetitive rhythms on tonight's episode as well. Those tracks are okay. I think there's some cool like guitar stuff happening on them, at least. Some of the distortion and stuff sounds pretty cool. The first single, Fallout, I love. I think it's great. I think this is like exactly what I want from Yo La Tengo. Some noisy guitar, but ultimately it's like more dreamy feeling, pretty melodies. I like the production on it. I love their production on, like, they get these like really small, tiny drum sounds that I love. A Celestine is the one that Joe pointed out. sung by Georgia Hubley. Really pretty, really dreamy. Until It Happens and Apology Letter, I think, are both really good. You know, I think Yo La Tengo write these like really good little pop songs, but their performances and the production is so idiosyncratic that I think the inherent poppiness of them is obscured. So you kind of have to like dig into it a little bit to get to the pop song underneath. And I think those two songs are good examples of that. But then for me, this record hits a bit of a snag with Brain Capers and the title track. To me, these ones are like too noisy and repetitive. I don't think either one offers much in the way of melody. And together, back to back, they count for 13 minutes of consecutive listening. So that's a rough patch for me. The closer, Miles Away, is okay. That one's a little bit more ambient. It's got like this programmed beat. That one's also sung by Georgia Hubley. So it has kind of like this ethereal quality to it that I think works well as a closing track. So yeah, kind of a mixed bag. I like some of it a lot. I like some of it a little. And then there's a couple tracks there near the end that I did not like much at all. So I can only go 3 stars on this. I think it's more of a situation where I would go back to tracks than the entire record. And I've seen a lot of reviews saying that this is their best album in decades and so long. And it's getting glowing reviews, but I think I like what was the record from the 2013 Ohm? I think I like that one more than this.
I think the truth lies somewhere in between Joe and people that are gushing over this. I'm going 3.5. I think it's very good. I think there are moments and songs on here that are 4 stars and up, but the biggest detriment, and I will agree with Joe here, is the album opens terribly. That song should not open, and I don't think it's a terrible song, but I don't think it should open the record. Sinatra, whatever it's called, one Daydream Highway Run, whatever, I don't know whatever the hell it's called, but I didn't even make a note of it because I didn't think it was that great. But I think this is kind of what you get, what you expect from Yo La Tengo. It's going to be a little trippy, little escapism, and then they dab their feet into, the shallow ends of a lot of different genres. Not so much on this album. This album's actually a little dark and a little bit moody. I wouldn't say concrete and like fear or sadness or anything. It's just like some disillusionment, I guess. Sonata Dry Breakdown is the name of it. But that's kind of their thing a lot of the times, is getting you in those like hypnotic cycles and stuff, and then just subtle little instrumentation that I really like. And I think on this album and throughout their entire catalog that their musicianship and attention to detail is very good. It doesn't always jump out at you or hit you over the head. I mean, there's no pom-poms ever, but little things like that little harmonic vocal build in Fallout is really well done and stuff like that. Vocals are always going to be soft and sedated and floating around, presumably. Not a lot of volume and grit, but they're always very sure of themselves. There's that pretty little astral guitar solo at the end of Fallout. And they've always had the ability to create these just simple, magnetic, little unassuming little jams that slide into your psyche. And I think this album does a lot of that. Celestine, I agree, is beautiful. It's got more of that, there's always either an album or like a couple songs here and there that get you that more like indie country folky kind of weirdness to it, like an indie Fleetwood Mac kind of gem. And there's just something really interesting about this band where nothing is too foreign ever, but also odd and unlike anything you've ever heard before. I think the rhythm section and that jazzy bass line on Until It Happens is pretty awesome. I love Apology Letter. I think it's beautifully heartfelt and honest and kind of childlike with the lyrics full of like petty substance and longing. I think that's a great song. And I just like how most Yo La Tengo albums, the songs are just like in a constant state of like neutral and just kind of cruise along. And they just kind of slowly seep into you. I think the title track has this really cool burning hypnosis. I dig it a lot with kind of the noise rock element. I love Miles Away. I think it's a beautiful little ambient closer. It really transcends you and melts you away with just like muscle relaxation and deep thought. Really close to 4. I listened to it on the train. I think if I listened to it like on my couch with the lights off and maybe just a candle, I can really submerge and get it into 4. But I also just totally get that this is the Webster's dictionary definition of music Joe will never be enthusiastic about, and that's fine. I like it a lot. I think it's really subtly tactful, and I think if we did a Yo La Tengo studio albums, there would be at least a couple songs or albums that Joe was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool, because there's a lot more melody and stuff on other albums for sure. This one is an album for the fans, I would say. It's not an album to be like, hey, we've reinvented our wheel, or this is our best foot forward. It's an album for their fans.
Well, that's good to know, because this is not a way to get somebody into Yo La Tengo, I don't think. Unless you're super into just drony, sort of hazy ambience where nothing ever happens.
I think there's a lot more happening than you're aware.
I heard some stuff happening, but I didn't like any of it.
All right. Well, let us know where you fall on this record. You dig it? Or are you more like Joe, not into it? Let us know in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and check the video description for links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, website, merch, and Patreon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.